On the evening of October 1st, 1869, 18-year-old Maggie McClellan sat on the porch of Catherine Attaway's hotel in Marianna, Florida. Beside her stood her father, James F. McClellan, a prominent attorney who had argued many cases before Florida's Supreme Court. The McClellans were joined by James P. Coker, a successful merchant. The two men were close associates in business and politics. At some point, the conversation surely turned to the uproar in Jackson County's black community, following the murder of an adult man and a little boy at a picnic a few days before. Many believed that the assailants were white regulators targeting the county's African-American constable, Calvin Rogers. Coker and McClellan's talk ended abruptly, stopped short by the crack of a shotgun. James McClellan felt a shot pass through his shoulder. Maggie was killed instantly. The darkness concealed the shooter, but the men agreed they had recognized the voice of Calvin Rogers commanding, "Fire." John Quincy Dickinson, the Vermont-born county clerk, recorded in his diary the terrible events that ensued. Coker sprang into action instantly, for once not bothering to conceal his control over the county's young white men as chief of the Regulators. Riders galloped into the night to spread the alarm and summon white men from the countryside. Early the next morning, Dickinson found Marianna's streets full of armed men staggering about drunk, clamoring for Calvin Rogers. Jackson County became a battlefield, its citizens terrorizing each other until federal troops arrived to impose order at the end of the month. This pattern of outbursts of brutal violence, followed by quiet lulls, began early in 1869 and continued through 1871. Contemporary estimates of the number of murders ranged from close to 100 to twice that total, far exceeding the number of murders in the rest of Florida during the same period. The victims were mostly black, but included some whites affiliated with the Republican Party and a few white conservatives. The 3 years of bloodshed, later known as the Jackson County War, brought immediate and unwelcome national attention to the region. Its notoriety was spread in reports of the violence in the nation's newspapers and congressional investigations. President Ulysses S. Grant became fully conversant with the details of the carnage in this small Florida Panhandle district. Federal troops were repeatedly dispatched to keep the peace. Within Florida, newspaper editors, divided along the lines of their political allegiance, debated the cause of the murders. Jackson County became known, in the memorable expression of one contemporary observer, as the place where Satan has his seat.